We were going through an Ajax call. We were going through an Ajax call. That is what we were doing in the last class. Just a minute, let this ID load. Yes. So we were using the load method in the last class. So why did we use this load method in the last class? Yes. What we are doing here with this load method. Yes, basically using the load method, we are making an Ajax call. Means it's an asynchronous call, I can say. It's an asynchronous call. So what does that means? Asynchronous call means yes. So the generally what happens is traditionally you'll find that an application will place a request. Sorry, the client will place a request, and after placing the request, you see the client places a request on the server. After placing the request, you'll find that the client, you know, it will wait till the server sends a response. The client will wait till the server sends a response. Okay. Yes, the client will wait till the server sends a response. What exactly the client will be doing here when I'm saying it is waiting for the server response? You'll find that it will be refreshing the page. You'll see that page refreshment, you know, that loading option, right? It will be loading. That is what it will be doing, right? So it will be loading continuously. You'll find the loading option over there. That's it. Okay. It will be loading, reloading continuously. So that is a synchronous call where the client, after placing the request, it will be waiting for the server for the response. Till that time, it won't do anything. Whereas when we talk about asynchronous call, after placing the request, you know, the client, it will not wait for the server's response. It will further proceed and executes. Okay, and once the server response is received, you'll find that it will update the page with that response. That's it. Here there won't be any page refreshment in this case. There won't be any page refreshment. There won't be any page refreshment in the asynchronous call. Yes. So the client will not wait for the server's response. It will proceed further after placing the request. Yes, that is how it works. Okay. This call, load method, it does that asynchronous call, I can say. So after the response is received, so what exactly this load method will do? Yes. After the response is received from the client, from the server, what exactly the load method does here on the client side? No, in the client side itself. Here, this is the client, right? On the client side, this code executes. After receiving the response, what exactly it does here? Yes. Yes. You will find that, yes, that's right. Once it receives the response from the server, the load method will update this div tag, will add that response data will to this div tag whose ID is message. You see, hash message. That means that response which is written by the server, it has to be updated, you know, to that element whose ID is specified here. That is what it indicates. Yes. Yep. Now let's move on. Today I'll be talking about another method in the jQuery which is also used for making Ajax calls. See this Ajax function or Ajax method, I can say. Okay. So now this AJAX method of your jQuery is also used to make a asynchronous call, I can say. Yes. So for that, I'll give you an example. But before that, let's try to understand this AJAX method, how it looks like. We have AJAX method. So jQuery AJAX method. This is how it looks like. So you see, when user clicks that button, okay, you see this is for a button. Just let's see once. You have a button here, get external content. On top you have some content, some text message. Get external content here. Click on this. When you do this, you see on top that content has changed now. And you got some additional content. So for this button, you see an event is registered and handler is there. Button.click, so calling AJAX method. URL demo test.text success. So if that request is successfully processed, we got a function which will execute. Yes. So what we are doing here, so that function, to that function you see the result will be passed on. It's a callback function, I can say. You see what we are doing is here, using this success attribute, you'll be supplying a callback function to this AJAX function, I can say. We are passing a callback function. Yes. Okay. So callback function means, yes, this function, you know, when exactly it executes, this function, it executes when, or this function is invoked when the server sends the response back to the client. This function is invoked when the server, when the client receives the response from the server, I can say. Once the client receives the response from the server, that function will be called. And you see, to that function, that result is also passed on. To that function, even the result is also passed on, I can say. Yes. And now here, what exactly we are doing here in this case? In that function, we are trying to access that div element. In that function, we are trying to access that div element, and then you see we are calling that HTML function over there. Why it is used? You know, we can use HTML content, HTML, method to update that content. HTML of, you do that function, you can pass some HTML code which will be updated in that div tag now. Okay. Yes. So we can use it to set the content, or we can also use it to read the content of that particular element. So that selector, it refers to the div element, the div tag. So we are trying to update that HTML content, update the content of that particular div tag, I can say. We are trying to update the content of that particular div tag over there. Okay. That is what we are trying to do. Yes. So not only here in this callback function, you can use it anywhere generally. Okay. So you can update the content of any element with the help of that HTML method. So you can access any element using the selector, and either set the content of that for that element or read the content of that particular element. So there are two possibilities here. Either you can set the content or read the content here. Okay. Yes. So this is another example of your Ajax call. So this time, now what is the difference you find here between the load method and this method? What is the difference you found here between this Ajax method? It is also Ajax call, a synchronous call itself. Now what is the difference between these two methods? Load method and Ajax method. Both are used to make an Ajax call and a synchronous call, I can say. Yes. Sorry. You know what? With the help of Ajax method, sorry, Ajax function, we can do more than that. We can there is a possibility to specify the HTTP method details. Sorry, that means we can place a post request as well. So in the last class, as we saw that we can only place a get request using that load method, right? Yes. So now let me show you people here. Let's see how to make that post request, and we can just send that form data also to the server. We can also send some form data to the server. Yes. So we got various possibilities here. Just a minute. Okay, sorry. So now you see, let's go through this Ajax method here and its parameters which you got. Just let's check that once. You know, Ajax method can take various parameters. So these are the various parameters which you'll find here for that particular Ajax method. Okay, yes. Just a minute. I'd like to take an example for this. This is the same one. Okay, no problem. So let's see this. You know, first of all, using the Ajax method, okay, you can pass these parameters. These are the various parameters which you can pass here to that Ajax method. So you see that async, which indicates whether the request which is placed is, whether it is a synchronous call or asynchronous call. So that Boolean value, if it is true, it will be a Boolean value which you need to specify here. If it is true, then it indicates that it's a synchronous call. Next, you see, we have before send method. So a function to run before the request is sent. We have an option to, execute the method. So yeah, execute a function before the request is placed on the server. Okay, yes. So that is what this before send method does. So cache. So whether to cache that requested page. If you want the requested page to be cached by the browser, you can specify that complete. What is this XHR here? XHR, you know, it is basically XML HTTP request object. You know, internally, all these methods like Ajax, load method, all these methods, basically they will be placing the request with the help of that, object called as XML HTTP request object. They will place the request using an object called as XML HTTP request object. Yes. Always there'll be, sorry, can you people hear me? Okay, sorry, I lost the connection. Yes. See, you will find that XML, XHR means XML HTTP request object, so which is basically used to place the request. Okay, yes. So that object is also provided, so you can use it if you need it. So complete is another method, so a function to return when the request is finished. So if there is any error, you see, you can be notified here with that particular method. Yes. Next, we have content type, which you can use to specify what type of content you're sending to the server. What type of content we are sending to the server. Those details you can send them using we can specify those details with the help of that content type, I can say. Okay. Yes. Yes. See, you have context specifies this value for all Ajax related callback functions. Context in the sense, yeah, the current object reference, this, it's nothing but you can think of it as this here, the current object reference. Yes. Next, we have data, that the data attribute is used to supply the data for that input request. What data you want to pass to that server, what data you want to send to the server, the details also you can pass them here. Yes. Okay. Yes. So the data will specify it here through that data method. Next, data filter. You see, the response which you're going to get from the server, the response which you'll be getting from the server. So if you want to process it or handle it, so you can take the help of this. You can take the help of this data filter. Next, we got a data type. So what type of response we are expecting from the server, those details. And we have error. So like, if there is any error, in that case, this error function will be called. And there are a few methods, which I would like to ignore here. Again, success, I'm interested in this. So you see what here, when you get a response, uh, if that response, if it is successfully processed by the server, you'll get this response, right? So if the request is successfully processed, you see this success function will be called. And especially I'm interested in this method attribute here, type, so which is used to specify whether the request is get or post request, whether the request is get or post request here. Yes. You'll find that there are other attributes also. As of now, you can just ignore them. Slowly you'll understand once you start using them. So first of all, here success, which is used to define a callback function when the request is successfully processed. Type, to specify that whether the request you're placing HTTP method request, whether it is get or post. And then you have error function. If there is any error, let's say the request was not successfully processed, there was some error, so this error function will be called. Data, to pass some data to the server. Content type, to specify what kind of content you're sending. Okay. Yes. Asynchronous call details, you can specify them using these attributes. Yes. So these are the various details which you can pass here when making an AJAX call. Okay. Yes. So let's do one thing. I'll show you people how, the form submission. Generally, so far when we submit the form, by default, you will find that the client used to take that form data, it used to read the form data, and simply it used to place a request on the server, right? The client, it used to read the form data once we submit the form, and then what it does basically, it will construct a HTTP request and sends it to the server. And you see, that form submission which we do, basically it's a it's a synchronous request. Okay, we'll be placing a synchronous call itself, not an asynchronous call. You'll find that basically you'll be making a synchronous request itself. It will be a synchronous request. Once the request is placed, you'll find that the client will be waiting for that response from the server. Okay, so now let me show you people how to place a synchronous request for the form submission. When the form is submitted, we'll collect that form data and we'll make a synchronous call with the help of that AJAX function. I can say we'll make a synchronous call with the help of that AJAX function. So let's try to do that. So let's consider a form for this. We have this login form, right? Let's consider this form. It's just a plain form, login HTML form. So first of all, let's add that jQuery libraries here because I will be using jQuery. Let's do that. So either we can download that jQuery libraries and you can include it here in the page, that, or we can use CDN, right? Yes, content delivery servers, where you have the jQuery libraries which we can import. That is the other option which you got. Yes. So now let me just add the jQuery libraries. Okay, so I'm done with this. Now the next thing is here we need to write the jQuery function to handle that form request, form submission, I can say. Okay, to handle that form submission, we'll do it. So let me name this form. I'll give a name to this form. See, the action, I won't specify any action here. We don't need to do that because now the browser it is not going to submit the request on its own. So we will be writing the code to submit the request, and that jQuery function will specify that URL. Yes. I'll assign an ID to this form. Let's say login form. Method details, let it be post. Okay. Yes. Now we have this fields here, username and password. Yes. So here now let's write this Ajax. Let's write this Ajax code here. Okay, just a minute. So people who have just joined, okay, people who have just joined, actually I'm talking about the Ajax call, making an asynchronous call here. And basically for this I'm using Ajax function or Ajax method is there. Okay, so you see this login form, this login form. What I want to do is when this login form is submitted, I want to make a synchronous call. Okay, yes, a call without a page refreshment, I can say. I want to make a asynchronous call. So that is what I'm trying to do here. Okay, so hope you people got it. So I've just started with this. So asynchronous call means you see after the client places a request, it won't wait for the server's response, or without page refreshment, I can say. You will not have any page refreshment in this case. Yeah. So now for that, you see, I've just started. Now what we want to do is, whenever that form is submitted, we want our jQuery code to execute, right? Whenever that form is submitted, a jQuery code should execute. That is what we need to do now. So we need to register a handler for that form submission. Any idea how to register a handler for the form submission? Okay, let's see. Okay, you see, dollar of login form, we'll use that form ID, login form dot submit. Okay, dot submit. So when that form is submitted, when that form is submitted, just a second. When the form is submitted, we want a function, jQuery function to execute. Okay, we want a jQuery function to execute. Okay, so the submit function, you see, so you're using it, is it predefined or user defined submit? It is predefined function, jQuery function itself. Yes, please, you only can make a note of it. So we use this function to register that function, sorry, the submit event. So register a function for that submit event. You see, now whenever that form is submitted, this jQuery code is going to execute. So we are registering a handler here using that submit function. For which form? You see that form ID already we have mentioned it over there, right? Dollar of hash login form. So whenever that form is submitted, we want this jQuery code to execute. Yes. Yeah. So now, first of all, we have to read this form data. Let's see how to read the form data. Okay. Say form data equal to dollar of this. This means we are referring to which object? This means we are referring to which object? Yes. This means we are referring to which method or which object? It's, yes, it refers to that form. That's right. It refers to that login form. Dot, you call this function serialize array. This dot serialize array. Call this function on that form. You know what this function does? It's jQuery function which will read that form data and it will serialize it. Serialization means converting that form data to sequence of bytes, okay, to bytes format here. That is what I can say. Now, after that form data is serialized, now we can now specify that form URL, okay, form URL. So the form URL is, let's say, not let's say, but we have to see here in the servlets. We have a servlet with whose URL is login process here, right? Yeah. Login process. Okay. Yes. So these are just variables you see now, which you got here. You know, these variables are not predefined. You wish you can give any name to that variable. Okay. You can give any name to that particular variable here. Okay. Yes. Next, both the variables you see, form data and form URL are user defined. You can give any names. They're just variables. Now we got that form data in this variable and the URL in that variable. Now let's call that Ajax function here. Okay. Yes. Let's call that Ajax function. Okay. So these are the various attributes in that Ajax function. You can pass those parameters this way: form, URL. So we have URL attribute in that we are passing a parameter called as URL. You see, we have list of predefined parameters here. You see, which where you can populate those details. Like you see, URL is one of the parameter here. I can say, okay, these are all predefined. Comma type. Type attribute is used to specify the method details, HTTP method details. Yes. Now, because it's a login form, I would like to make place a post request. Let's say I'll specify the method name as post. Okay. Next, the data. So the data, where it is in that variable form data, you have to supply it this way. Next, success function. So if the form is successfully processed, if that request is successfully processed, I would like to, we'll try to register function. Next, if it is error, if it fails, and we'll define a function here. JQXHR, that means XML HTTP request object. Status dot error thrown. We have the error details also. Yes. After that, you have to do this. So E dot prevent default, then E dot unbind. Stop default action and unbind to stop multiple form submissions. Okay, so you see in that success function, you can write some response data, I can say. Okay, yes, you can write some response data. Yes. So what I will do is here, just I would like to hide this form if the request is successfully placed. Okay, I would like to hide this form. So what to do here? If you want to hide this form, can you people tell me? If the request is successfully processed, we'll hide that form, and I would like to display a message. So to display the message, I will add a div tag here. The ID equal to message. Yes. How can I hide that form now? Can you people tell me? Fade out. Okay. So dollar of, first of all, you need to access that form, right? Can I say dollar of this? Can I say dollar of this here? Dollar of this dot fade out, or you can use hide, you wish. And then I want to display a message here. See, we have a div tag. I would like to populate it. So just now we saw that, how to do that. So you tell me the code. Use that HTML function for that. Yes. You tell me how to update that message element now. Come on, you people know that. We have done that a lot of times. So that message, just now we saw that also. What I want to do, that message element, that div tag which is referred by that ID message, I want to populate it with some content. A message, let's say you're successfully logged in or something like that. What to do? HTML function. So how to access that element? How will you access that element? Yes, give me the complete code. So dollar of hash message dot html of, so we'll add this content, let's say h3, so you're logged in successfully, something like this. Okay, That's it. So let's test this code now. Okay, let's test this code. Okay, you see, we have this form here. We have to access that form, login form. So let me type in this details. Click on login. Just a minute. It's not working. Login form. Oh, sorry. So last thing, actually we did everything, but at last we forgot to submit this form. We have added all this information, right? But you need to submit this form. So how will you do that? So hash login form dot submit. You will be submitting the form this way. Okay, sorry, I forgot to do that. So we have added all this information to that ajax function. We have to submit the form, right? We didn't do that. Sorry. Hmm. Let me see whether this servlet is invoked. Okay, no. We have this message. It has to be displayed. Login process, right? Yeah. Submit function. Comma after function. No, not needed because you don't have anything after that, right? Mm, we don't have anything after that, so there won't be any comma. Error success. Mm, let me just remove this project and update it once. Okay. We have a forward request here, so let me avoid all the stuff here. I'll not forward the request. Once, let me just check this form once again. Post data, you have success function. Fade out. Let me just do this. Login form dot fade out. Event default. Just submitting the form. That's it. Okay. So let me deploy this once. Let me take this form. It doesn't matter where you add it, okay? That won't be an issue. At first place, you see that method, the request is not sent to the server, because if the request is sent to the server, we should be able to see that message. Nothing is happening here. Why so? Let me specify async value also. Async say true. Async means asynchronous call. Login process. That is the URL of the servlet, right? Yeah. Login process. On submission, it is not working. Okay, let's do one thing. Remove all this stuff just for a while. Let's do this and remove everything. So let's see that event whether it is invoked or not. Say form submitted, login form submitted. Okay, at least this message has to be displayed, right? So if we are able to handle that event, in that first place there is an issue here itself. Login form. I don't think so. Okay. So why we are unable to take this on submit? submit is there, so it should work. Let's see once. So when that form is submitted, at least that jQuery code has to execute, right? It's not executing. So that is where we have stumbled actually. Just let me see. Maybe a small issue. Okay, this is also simple. It need not be E, it can be anything, event or E. Yes. Okay, we have a, yeah, crazy thing. You understood what the issue is? I understood it. Sorry. Okay, we did everything, but the thing is here, I did not concentrate on that. Document ready. So we didn't add this. I was just concentrating on that call, that's it. Let's see. Oops, you're getting a response. Uh, yeah, it's working. Just a minute. What's the issue? We want default submission, everything is fine. Yeah, it's working. Oh, it's by default submitting without doing anything. You see the request is sent by default. Event dot prevent default. Yeah. Yes. Let me see. Yes, now it works. Sorry. So this on submit also, what I did is I've added it outside of this syntax. Make sure that it is within this syntax. Okay, so we are done. So there was no issue with this code, but only thing is the document dot ready. I just got carried away. I was just concentrating on this logic. Okay. So when you submit the form, you know what happens now. This jQuery function will be called, which reads that form data, and you see we have this URL. We are constructing this form here. Once you got the response, what you're doing, the form will fade out and you're getting message. Okay. So as of now, you see, irrespective of what message you're getting from the server, so we are just trying to display that you are successfully logged in. But you see, you're getting a message that the user is invalid on the server side because that user might not be registered, or the details are not in the database. Now you have to check for this. I will leave it to you people. So, but you understood this, right? So Let me see what is the valid user here. It's not opening for some reason. So the user details are in the database actually. Meanwhile, we can just test it once again. Okay, let's just a minute. Yes, we got registered user table or something like that. Yeah, registered user. Okay, we have Raj. This is the only user we have here. So let me give those details. Raj and Raj123, and then I'll submit the form. You see, you're logged in successfully, and you see that login servlet on the back end it has executed. Okay, yes. So without page refreshment, you're able to submit the form. Yes. So this is Ajax call. So hope you people got it, right? So any questions? So why we are doing this? Prevent a default, and that means we are avoiding the default submissions. So once you see again this unbind, once the form is submitted, multiple submissions you can avoid it. You see sometimes user will accidentally double click on that submit form where there is a possibility that two requests can be placed. Okay, yes, that's it. The last thing, after we have added all this information to this Ajax function, we are just we are submitting that form, I can say, or submitting this request so that the Ajax call will be made. Yes. So is it clear for you people? Any questions? Okay. You know, I want you people to do one thing. Try another form submission. I'll tell you that is multi-part request, multi-part request, multi-part form submission, multi-part form submission where you will find that you'll come across uploading images or something like that. For that, how to handle the request, how to submit that form. I want you people to try it. Okay. Yes. So once I'll brief you people on jQuery UI. I won't discuss much about the UI part. And then I'll start with the Angular JS, but we'll do it in the next session. Okay. Yes. So next session I'll dedicate it to Angular JS. So we'll meet tomorrow at same time as we did today, and we'll be talking about Angular JS. Okay. Yes. So that's all for today. So we'll be talking about Angular JS in the next session. Yeah. Thank you all. Bye bye.